Ahoy there mateys, prepare yourselves for some nautical nonsense as we delve into today's nightmare fuel. I'm Stuart from Unleash the Ghouls, and today I want to talk to you about SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, this guy. I know, this little yellow twat isn't scary in any sense whatsoever. Maybe he's just a bit odd looking, right? But SpongeBob did contain plenty of weird and sinister moments, all of which could have qualified here as nightmare fuel. But what I really want us to centre in on for a minute is one specific episode. What is that episode, I hear you ask me? Well, great question, chum buckets. It's one specific 11-minute and 1-second episode from season 2 known only as Graveyard Shift, which first aired in Canada on the 24th of January 2002 before rolling out worldwide on later dates. In this episode, Mr. Krabs, the owner of Krusty Krab restaurant of course, decides to keep the restaurant open for 24 hours straight to make more money. Squidward and SpongeBob are forced into work in this graveyard shift together, all alone at night. This episode first starts to play on the being alone at night fear that people have when SpongeBob has to take the rubbish out to the bin, or for all our American audience out there, taking the trash out to the dumpster. He's confronted with an ominous walk to the bin along this dark path, illuminated only by an eerie green hue to the night sky. But it's not the fear of the dark that's the main nightmare fuel component here. It's the hash-slinging slasher that's soon introduced by Squidward as some kind of ghost story to scare SpongeBob further. Squidward goes on to tell the tale of a man who was a fry cook at the Krusty Krab, but he accidentally cut off his own hand while chopping patties. He replaced his hand with a rusty spatula, like you do, and then got hit by a bus when leaving the establishment. At his own funeral, they fired him for these mistakes, so now every Tuesday night he returns to the Krusty Krab to wreak his horrible vengeance. The tale goes as follows. The lights are going to flicker on and off, the phone's going to start ringing but no one will be on the other end of the line. The slasher will arrive in a ghost bus, the same bus that ran him over, and he'll cross the street without looking both ways because he's already dead, right? Who cares about road safety? He'll tap on the window with his spatula hand and then open that door slowly before approaching the counter, and it's only then that he gets you. But not too long after this tale is spun, these very actions start actually happening. The lights flicker but no one's touching the lights, the phone rings, no one's on the other end, and a bus arrives, dropping off an ominous looking character who just stares at the building from across the street with these weird piercing red eyes surrounded by just his silhouette of some absolute hench beast. He slowly starts walking towards the restaurant and suddenly their campfire ghost story becomes reality. Ultimately there's a twist at the very end of this episode and it's pretty anticlimactic until they figure out who's actually been flicking the lights on and off, and it randomly just cuts to Count Orlok from Nosferatu, another character that by appearance alone, with his pale skin, his darkened eyes and those long almost claw-like fingers and his gothic dress sense, little fucking emo, is enough to be burnt into any sensitive kid's nightmares forever. Whilst watching this episode back, it's not really that freaky, but I do remember as a kid that atmospheric horror building up as the character made his appearance, just staring and then walking towards the Krusty Krab was pretty messed up, and it brought on those evolutionary fears that we all have. I know some of you out there are absolute internet units and you're going to comment saying this doesn't scare me at all because you're hard as fuck, but the kicker for me here is that the show's key demographic, which is 6 to 11 year olds, most of them being on the younger end of that spectrum, are going to be intimidated by this character. And to play on the fears of the dark slasher style character and throw in that freaky looking Count in there just to make sure you really cause some trust issues later in life, this episode quite rightly earns its spot in our Nightmare Fuel series. But what do you lot reckon? Just some harmless fun with a silly twist at the end, or worthy of the spot that I've crowned it with here? You let me know in the comments below, Ghoul Gang, and in the meantime, good night and sweet nightmare fueled dreams.